Hello and welcome to this FPL Game Week 5 deal sheet video with me, Holly Shand. In today's video, I'm going to pick out a player in each position that you should buy, monitor or sell ahead of the Game Week 5 deadline. Help me get this one to 500 likes. Let's get into it. Starting off with defenders then, and Matty Cash is firmly on the buy list. He's the third most brought in defender ahead of Game Week 5 with 200,000 transfers in, with his ownership creeping up to 15%, and he's one of the most attacking defenders in the game this season. He's almost playing as a winger. As we saw, he managed to get a brace in one fixture, which was incredible. Aston Villa have kept one clean sheet at home. They've got another home game coming up next, and Cash is top among defenders for shots with 9, shots in the box with 7 and shots on target with 5. Some sensational numbers which show that those attacking returns are sustainable. Moving on to the monitor list, and we've got Newcastle United's Kieran Trippier. I'm surprised to see that he's seen 100,000 transfers out this week, the third most sold defender. 30% owned though, his ownership's holding firm because there are managers buying him in as well. He's certainly dividing opinion, but if you picked Trippier at the start of the season, you did that for a reason, for his attacking threat, his involvement in set pieces. Newcastle remain a very good defence. They've only conceded 5 big chances on their goals, so they've been unlucky not to keep more clean sheets. So the fixtures are turning now, 2 home games in the next 3. He could be one to buy. 13 corners taken this season, 7 free kicks, 10 key passes. The underlying numbers are there for his creativity. Obviously, the Champions League does start the midweek after Game Week 5, so be interesting to see whether Trippier is prioritised for the cup games or whether he's prioritised in the league. So that's why he's on the monitor list, but he could be one to buy and certainly not one to sell going forward. I think if you've got him, you just hold him. On to the sell list then, and I've picked out Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Still not living up to his 7.9 million price tag. He's seen 50,000 transfers out this week. He's still the 10th most owned defender in the game though, 12.6% owned. 1 assist, 1 clean sheet. It's not really good enough for him. 9 big chances conceded. When you look at all the defenders at 4.5 and 5 million that are performing, your Estupiñans, Chilwell, Udogie, it makes it really, really difficult to justify holding Trent. I guess when we've got that much demands on our funds this season, there is an argument maybe to holding, because where else do you spend the funds? But if you're invested in Liverpool, now Salah's stayed, I think you need to be moving those funds further forward to Liverpool's attack. Moving into the midfield then, and on the buy list is Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo. It is not too late to bring him into your team. Do not be stubborn. 27% owned. He's the 4th most owned midfielder in the game. 160,000 transfers in this week, the 3rd most bought midfielder, and he's got 4 goals in 4 games. He's absolutely bossing it in terms of his goal threat, his assist potential, his set piece involvement as well. He's 2nd for big chances this season with 6, and 2nd for XG as well with 3.38. Those are sensational numbers, and Mbeumo is certainly one that's going to continue to do well this season. On the monitor list after his hat-trick last time out is Heung-Min Son, 10% owned now, 400,000 transfers in, the most bought player ahead of Game Week 5. It's his positioning which is key to his investment. He's been on the wing for the opening 3 games of the season, and then a knock for Richarlison gave him the opportunity in the central role, and boy did he deliver in Game Week 4 alone. 5 shots, 2 big chances created. And Ange Postecoglou has alluded to the fact that Son's potentially first choice on penalties as club captain, so he looks to be a great fantasy asset going forward. But I would like to just keep an eye on it for another game to see if he continues in that central role. Does Richarlison come back in and then he go back on the wing? But a huge potential for this player. He's a player that won the Golden Boot 2 seasons ago, and I think there's probably an argument to doubling up on the Spurs midfield with Son and Maddison if this link-up continues going forward. So something to keep an eye on. Nice fixture next week, followed by 2 tricky ones, but I still think this Spurs side, it's all-out attack from them. It doesn't really matter on the fixtures. They can be fixture-proof assets. On the sell list, though, it's another Liverpool player. It's Luis Diaz, the 5th most sold midfielder this week with 80,000 transfers out, 13% owned. he's just not delivering on the same level that other midfielders at a similar price point are. So I think now is time to let go. I think if you're going with Liverpool, it's probably Salah or Darwin in the attack that you want. Probably Salah's the one that's more nailed for minutes. 261 minutes from Diaz is not enough. There's just better options elsewhere. And we've seen Darwin Núñez as well. Even with a little bit of an upturn in his form, he's still struggling for minutes as well. Maybe that's something that settles down once the European football starts and Liverpool maybe have their Premier League 11 and their Europa League 11. But we haven't seen that come to fruition just yet. On to forwards then, and on the buy list is Nottingham Forest Taiwo Awoniyi. He's the 4th most bought forward in the game this week, 100,000 transfers in, but he's still a differential in less than 5% of teams. But the underlying numbers for him are definitely very good. 4 big chances, so he's 4th with big chances among all players. And Forest had an awful run of fixtures to start the season. Those fixtures are beginning to turn now, so it makes sense to start looking at buying him. And remember, this form is a continuation of the excellent scoring run we saw from him at the end of last season as well. On the monitor list is Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson. A lot of managers getting frustrated with him. The 1st most sold forward with 200,000 transfers out. Still 20% owned, but I think if you've got him, you absolutely need to be patient with him and hang on to him. He's 2nd for big chances with 7, 3rd for XG with 3. 4th for shots with 15. Chelsea's fixtures remain very good. He's continuing to get those opportunities. He just needs to be a bit more clinical in his finishing, but that will come. So remember, Chelsea do not have European football this season. He's going to remain a really nice fantasy asset up until the next international break. So if you've got him, hold firm. On the sell list then is Arsenal's Eddie Nketiah. We've seen Gabriel Jesus fully fit, back integrated into the squad. So now, if you did start the season with Nketiah, take those 3 goal involvements and run 50k transfers out for him this week. He's 7% owned. He's the 7th most sold forward for this week as well. And it's minutes as well with him, 270 minutes from a possible 360 over the opening 4 game weeks. We need more than that, and those minutes are only going to decrease now Jesus is back in the fold. He's had a great start to the season if you went with him, but now is the time to move him on. Remember, I do my best to answer all of your comments, so let me know your biggest transfer dilemmas ahead of FPL Game Week 5 and help me get this one to 500 likes and continue to subscribe to the channel. We're hunting down 26,000 subscribers ahead of the Game Week 5 deadline. Really appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching.